Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. Y'all, our community is in the trash. It's not going to the trash, it's in the trash. And at this point, the only person who can save it is God. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Now, if you're wondering why I said that, it's because Akon is in the media for some just ridiculousness. So he sat down and he had a interview, if you will. I forgot what the name of the young woman he was speaking to, who I guess was trying to get a feel of what he felt about the whole situation with Nick Cannon and having all these children with these women. Now, if you've followed me for any amount of time, because I've had a recent video that I made about that, you know how I feel about that. Now, this man really got up and said that he agrees with Nick Cannon having a bunch of children and said out of his own mouth that that's the way it's supposed to be. First of all, he should be ashamed of himself for even putting that in the atmosphere. And I'm just going to go ahead and rebuke it because that's not the way it's supposed to be. Like I said, if you've seen any amount of my videos that I've made on Nick Cannon, you will know that I am vehemently against what he's doing. And before anybody tries to justify his actions are the reason why we have so many problems in the Black community. And nobody gives the disclaimer. Nobody puts down in the fine print that this is not something that anybody should be doing, let alone anybody who is not like them, like celebrities who with a bunch of money. Even they shouldn't be doing it, but nobody puts the disclaimer down there. It's not like most Black people would read it if they did, but that's the thing that's making this so much more detrimental. They are doing this stuff and it's detrimental to the kids. Like I said, you can throw him and the women that they do this with completely under the bus. At this point, the kids are what I'm most concerned about. But it's even worse because there are regular average Joes, regular men out here in the world who are taking these men's advice. And it's much more detrimental in the average person's lives when they try to apply this madness. Even in the interview, the young lady was trying to get him to understand, well, no, I don't think it would be a good idea to have all these kids like this just running around, especially for different women, because you can't spread yourself through all these kids. You know what I'm saying? Like you're spread thin, so to speak. You can't give them all the attention, every single last one of them, that they require. And he basically said in so many words that that's not really his job, that that's his wife's job or the women's jobs. And you know what's sad? Again, that reinforces this just awful, disgusting thinking in the Black community that a father, his presence is not required in a child's life to help them, develop them as a good person. The attention, the affection, the discipline, them being there. They don't just need your money. They need your presence. They need your attention. They need you there. And he basically said that that ain't his job, that that's not what they need, which is a bald-faced lie. That's the reason why you got so many kids running around here pissed off and disgusted today, because their father was not present. And he also wasn't a healthy, normal, sound-minded, functional individual. Like I said, that's what's wrong, or one of the reasons, one of the main things that's wrong with the Black community now. These absent fathers, these fathers who really don't feel like they have to actually be there and be a father. And that's another thing. Like these celebrities kids, a lot of them are messed up today because all they thought was, oh, I'm going to just hustle this and make money that. And they didn't actually be in their child's life. Some of them probably didn't even want to be. Let's just be honest. Some of these men, they're just making children just to make children. But they are not aware or understanding of what is required of them as a father, as a person who's putting children into the world. That's why you have so many messed up kids right now. And this man had the audacity to call Nick Cannon responsible as a father. If anything, he's the most irresponsible father I've ever seen, just with money. Because like I said again, it's more than just the money for those kids. The only people that are benefiting off of the money are those women. They're able to keep up their lifestyles. It's the attention and the clout of it all. But those kids, they need his presence more than they need that money right now, especially as young children. The sad thing that a lot of people cannot get people to open their eyes and see is men like Akon with these messed up mindsets and Nick Cannon and these other male podcasters who keep coming out of the woodworks and making excuses and justifications for this kind of behavior, they don't realize how much this is detrimental to the average person, as I said before. Because the average person is not looking at it like, well, these men, they have a whole lot of money. They're selling pipe dreams to us. And we're giving them our attention and our money and clout. But they're not going to be as poorly affected as we will be by following this mess that they're putting out. And it's just a dumb mindset to push anyways. Y'all need to understand that these people do not value relationships the way God intended for them to be. They don't value sanity. They don't value healthy, functional, non-toxic individuals who engage in healthy, functional, non-toxic relationships that then give rise to and give birth to functional, healthy, non-toxic children. They don't value present fathers. One other thing that he said that's coming to my mind right now, whenever she was saying, hey, well, you've got 1,000 kids. How do you meet every single recital? Like you're talking like you can be there for every single child. How do you get to every single recital and, band practice? And he basically said, that's for white people. You showing up and supporting your child in something that they have taken interest in their school is for white people. Now, there were some people that were saying, now he's from Africa, remember y'all, and in some places in Africa, in the schools, they don't have stuff like recitals, which is understandable, but he should have did his research before he let that fall out of his mouth. And I don't care if he didn't have recitals where he came from. That was still an ignorant and disrespectful and just ignorant thing for him to say. Again, these people do not value what they should, and they're pushing these mindsets on people, and people are accepting them. They're accepting that, oh yeah, I can have a bunch of different women. I can have babies all over the place. I can have as much sex as I want to without any consequences. Some of y'all need the fear and the reverence of God. That's what y'all really need. Because if y'all had that, I don't honestly believe y'all would be out here listening to these idiots and doing the stuff and taking part in the stuff that they do and take part in. Despite how squeaky clean he made it seem like this kind of lifestyle of polygamy, stupidity is what I call it, that he tried to make it seem. People have been pointing out how Nick Cannon's baby mamas have been at each other's throats in the media because it's now turned into a battle amongst some of them where it's like, he spent more time with my kids, or, oh, she's just taking this photo out to try and make it look like he cares more about her kids. That is so stupid to me. And like I said again, I think we need a crash course on what polygamy actually is, like how polygamy is supposed to be actually done. Like, first of all, you actually marry the women that you're sleeping with, that you're involved with, that you're having the kids with, and you have a house that can accommodate those women and all the babies that you have with them. Not having babies by different women around the place who are all living in separate houses so that you're not actually around these women and their kids. Like I keep saying this, that's not polygamy, that's debauchery. There's a difference. I really hope one day he wakes up and realizes how ridiculous he was for getting on that podcast or on that interview and saying what he said. And then realizes all the people that was around him who co-signed him and congratulated him and encouraged him to say it were really no good, and that he was stupid for keeping them people around him and listening to them. It's going to be all fun and games until these kids that are involved in these whack unions, these disturbing unions, these unions that don't need to be happening, get older, and then they get on social media and they drag everybody because, one, why were their parents goofy enough to do that? Two, why were so many people co-signing it and congratulating them? Because some of this stuff, I believe, can be stopped by simply condemning the actions. There's not enough people around saying they should not be doing this. There's not enough people around them saying, hey, you don't need to be doing this. Like I said, it's going to be all fun and games so these kids get older. They get in their 20s and 30s. And they say, y'all ain't no good for doing this, for letting it happen, for not saying nothing. And they mad and they vexed because they had to go through misery and hell because their family unit was trash and built on stupidity. But anyways, this is so stupid to me, and it just mind boggles me how many people support this mess, how many people co-sign it and make excuses for it. But y'all tell me respectfully what y'all think and how y'all feel about this in the comments down below.